How you doing, my friend? How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm good, very good. So I've been an avid follower of yours for some time now,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 years. Um,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. So it's probably because of you I've done this, and I want to get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, so what I've done, I contacted your team maybe a year ago, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, "Oh, where are you? What do you want to do?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, my goals were probably not as fixed as they could be, as they're still not really that set.
Mm-hmm.
But I borrowed a bit of money so I got a property in Wales, borrowed
Mm-hmm.
a bit of money about that against that. So I got about 35K spare now.
Nice.
Um, and I'd like to get into sort of hands off type um, a property portfolio, because I work full time.
Yep.
Um, I'm currently working in Newcastle, although I'm from South Wales.
I can hear the accent. Yeah.
Yeah, so I work all over the UK really for the company I work for.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm up here for like a year, which I'm probably coming to an end of now, and
Mm-hmm.
then they'll relocate me to somewhere else. Um, so I'm looking to sort of start to build a property portfolio.
Yep.
Probably not, I don't know, maybe you can advise me a bit better, but probably not HMOs, something that's going to take a fair bit of management
Sure.
because I'm all over the place and I work quite a lot of hours, sort of
Sure.
60, 70 hours a week.
Oh,
So, yeah, I do quite a bit. So that's sort of where I am really. So I wondered if we could have a bit of a chat about some sort of a strategy that wouldn't require a lot of my time.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
that's sort of where I'd like to go, ideally.
Yeah. Yeah. Got you completely. So you say you've got around 35 sitting there?
Yeah,
Yeah. So straight off the bat, I think that would be probably best suited for a buy to let, just a typical vanilla 7 to 8 out of 10 condition buy to let
yeah,
somewhere in South Wales, I would advise.
okay.
That's what I buy. Very straightforward.
Yeah, yeah. And was one of the I probably suffered. You know what you do? You try and investigate all the different routes, and I
Mhm.
probably suffer with analysis paralysis. Is it?
Yeah,
There's so
yeah,
much stuff in the end, and
yeah, yeah,
especially on the
yeah.
internet these
It's
days.
overwhelming.
Yeah, so I didn't know whether to look at, renting it out to the council, for a set number of years.
hmm
Does that's is that a good option, or maybe something?
I don't know. I mean, some of the HMOs that we do rent to rent with, some of those landlords have had offers from the council for like a guaranteed rent over a fixed term, but I don't know. It depends who they're putting in there. Sometimes they're putting in, people that are from different countries, for example, people that are underprivileged, people that are maybe sometimes in some cases not long out of jail.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I
right.
mean, not that that's something to put you off, but I just find it's better to rent it to working professionals because there's so many more higher quality tenants nowadays that are looking. It's such a crisis that you do kind of have a pool of people to choose from, and
Yeah, yeah,
quite a quality pool of people as well nowadays. Like in all of ours, we've got a couple doctors, we've got some nurses, we've got some dentists. These are all people on like good salaries, good jobs, and they're quite reliable people.
yeah. I sort of second it because when I came up here, I was looking to rent somewhere for maybe 5 months. Couldn't find anywhere, just
Yeah,
anywhere that wasn't a student dig sort
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, and that's how
So
that's that's how it is. If you market the place properly and you furnish it, for example, and maybe set the bills up in your name or your company's name, whichever, if you end up buying in a company or as your own name, then there's a long list of good quality tenants that will pay for that type of accommodation, and it won't involve too much management if you choose the right one. And obviously, if the house is in good enough condition, there's not
yeah,
that much work that you need to do. Will you make enough to replace your income straight away? Probably not from one, but 350, £400 a month coming in passive is would be nice for most people.
yeah, yeah.
It's a start, and if you look at the Savills forecast over the next sort of 4 years to 2029, you're going to get around 25-30% appreciation in Wales.
Mm.
So you could potentially be looking at pulling out most of your 35 that you put in. in a few years' time, and then using that to buy another one, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite lucky at the minute. My current employer pays for my living expenses and everything up here. And
Nice.
if I was, yeah, I'm very lucky with it. If I'm savvy, I I could probably save 10, 15 grand a year.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm sort of getting to the point where I'm like, come on, Dom, we just need to focus now.
Yeah.
Stop pissing your money up
Yeah.
in Newcastle every
Get off
weekend and just,
Amazon.
yeah, yeah. So I just thinking, right, come on, you need to do this. And
Yeah.
I think you said in your videos, the first one's always the scariest.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm just like, right, come on, I got the money sitting here and I've chucked it into a premium bonds account
Yeah.
just because it's better than sitting in the bank, isn't it? You know, at least you got a chance of
Sure.
winning
That's
something,
what
isn't
most
it?
people do.
Yeah. So would you then put that through an agent, Luke, to manage it and stuff, or would you
Yeah.
recommend self-managing it? Or
Yeah, I mean, it depends how much time you have, you know. Um, there's many good agents in those areas, you know, Peter Allen, someone like that, I'd probably recommend.
yeah,
Um, they're probably going to charge you a fair bit on fees in terms of like your tenant find fee and things like that. They might charge you 1 month's rent for like getting the tenant in, but they'll deal with all the administration, the vetting process, all of that stuff. And then if you want them to manage it on an ongoing basis, I presume they'll probably charge 10, 12% of the rent every month, which probably will take a little bit out of your monthly income. But again, you know, if you want something to be completely hands off, then that's uh that's just a cost of the game, you know.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. I suppose my goal is really to let the capital appreciation be
It's a
my
long-term
winner
play.
more than
Yeah,
I suppose if I ever get laid off, then I'll go home and I'll manage it myself, isn't it?
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. You know,
but
it
maybe,
wouldn't be that difficult to manage yourself, but
yeah,
it's just
yeah, yeah,
knowing
but
how to do it, you know.
yeah, right, okay. So, what do you think about sourcing properties? Where's do you? I suppose not. You don't look for city centre, but um, as small as Wales is, it's quite a big place, as you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. South
So
Wales
yeah,
is where I choose.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I'm from Bridgend, just outside
okay,
Cardiff.
well, that would
So
be a good place to start, you know. Not
yeah,
necessarily the most beautiful place in the world,
no, definitely not.
but still an emerging market, you know, it's still benefiting from the ripple effect of like Cardiff, and people
Yeah,
will start buying outside of Cardiff. Sort of where we buy is like 20 miles away, you know, Aberdare, you know, even Merthyr, some parts of Merthyr are good.
yeah.
Anywhere where there's good transport links, like you can get back into Cardiff within half an hour, 40 minutes from those types of areas.
So you look sort of commuter belt then, do you, for the city
Yeah,
centre? Yeah,
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 yeah. Just because you go into Cardiff and you're going to be looking at like 200 grand, 250, whereas
yeah,
in
yeah.
surrounding areas you could get a good, nice 2 bed, 3 bed house for like 150, around that sort of
Mm.
price point.
So what would you suggest I look for? Something like a two, three bedroom house, is it? And then
Yeah,
rent it out like to a family, that sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. You can rent to a family, or you could, like I mentioned
Or
earlier,
professionals.
yeah, you could spend a little bit more maybe furnishing it and then attracting those sort of higher quality professional tenants rather than families, so like doctors and nurses, people like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, that's something that we could help you with when you get to that stage, you know. If it was near some of our ones, then we could discuss helping you out with the management if that's something you'd be interested in as well.
Yeah, it is really. Um, yeah. I suppose I don't really know what I know you guys do this for yourselves.
Mhm.
I don't really know what sort of side of the management or the that side of stuff you do outside what you've done, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we just basically we don't really manage loads of other people's properties, mainly just our own, but we have got a few clients that we do manage. So we just handle the rent collection, you know, liaise with the tenants if something goes wrong, send a contractor to fix it, things like that, you know, and send the landlord a quote, you know, just making it as hands off as possible for landlords who are busy
Mm.
professionals like yourself, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes nothing will happen for months and, you know, you're still collecting 10% as a management company, but then all of a sudden, you know, the tenant might contact you 3, 4 times in 1 month and
Yeah, yeah.
you're earning your money again, you know. So
Yeah.
it's bit swings and roundabouts, right? But for it to be passive for the investor, a management company definitely needs to be in place, really, unless you're going to be dealing with tenants WhatsApping you, which some people are fine with, but there needs to be clear lines of communication just in case a small issue, maintenance wise, can snowball into a bigger issue if it's not dealt with quickly and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if for whatever reason someone's struggling with the rent or they've had a week off work, these are things that need to be spoken about and then made up for the following couple of weeks rather than let it build up and become a bigger issue.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I manage a lot of people in my normal job, and it's managing the people is sometimes the hardest bit, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, people are difficult, mate, I tell you. That's why we're very selective with who we work with because
yeah, yeah,
you don't want to, in business, we call it operational drag, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I for my job, I load ships, with
Okay,
recycled material,
cool.
and give me plant and machinery any day,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
without the people,
Yeah, yeah, because
because
it just works. It works
they
with no
do.
emotion.
That's it, man. They do as they're
Yeah,
told every time.
predictable. Predictable, mate. Engineering brain is what we like to call it.
That's it. That's what I got. That's why I'm good at my bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well,
So yeah, okay. So I suppose how do I develop now? How is it? How do you take the next step? I suppose it's.
yeah,
I find
yeah.
that,
I
I do
mean,
find it a bit scary. This. It's only because it's something new, I
everyone
suppose.
does. Everyone
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Everyone does. We do have a service that we offer people. We do mentor people to buy their first one. Normally that consists of sort of 3 Zoom calls with me over like a month or so. The first call we'll do will probably be identifying the exact area, looking, shortlisting a few properties. Then we'll move on to like either viewing them yourself or paying someone to view them for you on your behalf, which we can help you organize as well. And then once you've got everything in a row and you've got your mortgage agreement pretty much there, I don't know whether you have a mortgage broker or we have one that we could recommend as
yeah,
well. We
yeah.
could,
I've got one I've used a few times. I suppose I've taken some steps. Like I set myself up a limited company,
yeah,
got
good,
some money ready,
good.
and know a solicitor who's sort of recommended by a family solicitor. Um, Accountant I need to source really, but I'm
That could
sort
be
of
later on down the line.
yeah, I'm sort of
You're
probably doing
there.
odds and sods.
Yeah, you're there.
I
You're
just
there or
need to
thereabouts. You're there or
just need to bring it
thereabouts.
all together really,
Pull the
and
trigger.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
To
Yeah,
pull the
you're
trigger,
right.
mate.
Yeah,
And I understand it can be nerve-wracking. For me, it was nerve-wracking. It's for most people, it's most of their money. It's a nest egg, isn't it? And
yeah, yeah.
it's a big investment. But what you have to just remind yourself is that the earlier you get in, the quicker you get to benefit from the returns, right? And you don't get anything for sitting outside the market.
And I've been watching you and thinking about my problem. Probably excuse. Problem is my assignments are normally 12 months long, and I get to like 8, 9 months. I'm like, oh, I really should do something. Watch all these
Yeah,
videos, and then
yeah,
it's like, right, come on, you'll be moving in a month or so. I'm like, right,
yeah,
as soon as I move, I'll do it.
yeah,
And then you move, and then you don't do it for 6 months, and then
yeah,
you
yeah.
fall into the same trap again.
I
So I'm
understand
like,
completely.
right, Dom, fucking get on with it.
It's very common. It's very common. I
Yeah, yeah,
speak to a lot of people every day, and many people tell me the same thing. It's just having that, um, I guess, being brave to lay that first brick. And you want
yeah,
to lay it well, but at the same time, if you're buying a 7 to 8 out of 10 condition house, there's not much that can really go wrong.
yeah,
You're not buying a fixer upper. You're buying a good house in a good area where there's schools nearby, transport links. And speaking from experience, when we buy these houses and then we have our own management company as well, so we list them ourselves and we see all the inquiries that come in, there really is like 20, 30 people queuing up to rent it straight away.
yeah, yeah.
And we get to filter through those and obviously choose the better one, right? So it's quite safe and secure. There's not much that can go wrong. It's just more so in your mind, self-limiting belief, basically, that you just need to get over.
People problems again, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're thinking, about what could go wrong rather than looking at the opportunity cost, of not being in the market.
Yeah, 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 definitely. No, I'm ready. Really, I'm ready to pull the trigger on it. I just need someone to sort of help guide me, and maybe if we
Yeah.
could work, I'd be interested in working with you guys.
As quick as you can move, we can move, basically.
Yeah, and it's well, I've said it. I'd put this off for long enough. I'm trying to get everything right, and now I
Yeah.
just need to pull my socks up and get on with it, really.
Yeah,
So,
well, you got two choices. You can either go and do it yourself, or you can get, if you want a second opinion and you want someone to hold you accountable and make sure you do it, then,
yeah, yeah. Well,
then
I
that's what
think
I can do.
certainly for the first few, I'd like
Yeah,
to work together really and look at
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be great. So, yeah, I'm looking
Cool.
forward to it, really.
Good, good. Well, you're getting
So, sorry. One of the questions I got to ask is about company setup, really,
it.
because my house I've got in Bridgend, obviously
Hmm.
I own that personally.
Hmm.
And so I've drawn a bit of money down on that. That's got what's given me the 35K.
Sure.
So I was going to do a director's loan into the business and buy my first buy to let through the
Yep.
business.
Yep.
Because the view is obviously to build that portfolio up, and
Yeah.
it hasn't really been. I was writing my goals down this morning.
Yeah.
Replacing my income isn't really there, but suddenly today I was like, maybe that wouldn't be such a bad
Well,
idea. And
you can't work forever, Dom.
well, that's it. I was thinking, maybe 300 quid of property profit. Well, you only need 10 of them, and
Yeah. And
actually, I
yeah.
wouldn't have to work so
Yeah.
much.
Of course. And if you look at, the 60-hour weeks you're doing, I mean, I'm sure you enjoy parts of it, but I mean, over the long term, how
Yeah, yeah.
sustainable is that? We're only going to want
Well,
to put our feet up as time goes on later on in life. You could set yourself a 5-year plan and say, especially if you can manage to save that 10 or 15 every year extra as well, if you're quite tight with yourself, then there's other properties, even in the Bridgend area. If we go a bit further over to west, the west parts of Wales, you can get 80 grand houses that it's the
yeah,
same.
so cheap.
Yeah, where you could put 20 grand down. So really and truly, you could get another one in 12 months' time, and then all of a sudden you've got two that are compounding, and then when it gets to 2028, you've got two you can pull money out from, and then you can buy another two, and then you've got five. And
Yeah, yeah. So what does it take, do you think? Sort of 3 years, is it, to go up in enough value
well,
to draw some
yeah, I
blood?
mean, it depends, doesn't it? I mean, like
Yeah.
obviously from COVID to now, there's been quite a big rise. We've had like 30% increase. I mean, you'd see for yourself over the last sort of 4 years. We've had that's quite high for the average, but if you look at the Savills forecast, it's expected to be similar, 25, 26% up until 2029. So if you buy something for 150, it's going to be worth 180 by that
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
190 around that sort of price point. So you'll be able to get most of the money you put in back out, and that'll be enough to buy another one, and you just keep going. But yeah, every 4 years, I'd say is a realistic time frame to refinance.
Right.
Depending on what your goals are, I think that's a safe place. Sort of empty the bucket, leave 25% in, so you've got a bit of equity in there,
Yeah.
and then use that to go and buy another one. That's sort of what we do, and that's how I think you should scale, especially at this point in your life. You're not quite an old boy yet, so I think you should be
No.
a bit more aggressive with it when you've got the energy
Yeah,
to do it.
totally agree. Yeah, if I'm going to do this, I would like to do, yeah, sort of 5-year plan and really
Yeah,
smash it.
yeah,
And probably roll back on the holidays and wasting the money a bit more and
yeah,
just be, 5 to maybe 8 years,
yeah,
hammer this in, and maybe we'll have another meeting then and review
yeah.
it.
Well, for sure, for sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah,
Why not? If you get a few under your belt, all of a sudden those 60-hour weeks, you don't have to go
yeah,
and
yeah,
do them. You could go and do 40 hours or 30 hours, cut them right down, and you might have
yeah,
other
yeah,
hobbies and things you enjoy doing. You go and travel, go and
yeah,
fish. Whatever,
yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
like to
yeah,
do.
yeah. Find something that doesn't take 80 hours a week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think.
probably, probably be buy houses.
Yeah, that's the plan, mate.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Oh, good. Well, I think that's sort of, yeah, I think that's given me the answers I wanted, really. Look, be
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, you'll get an email after the call. Obviously, have a
Hmm.
think about it. We're not going anywhere,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're here as soon as you're ready. If that's something you want to commit to, then we'll get you onboarded and we'll get going from there. We'll be speaking on WhatsApp and we'll get
Yep.
some
Good.
booked in and we'll
Okay.
shortlist some properties and we'll get it done, mate.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Great. Good. I'll do that. Well, thank you very much indeed, mate. It's been
No
really good
worries,
chatting.
buddy. No worries, buddy. Have a good
Uh,
weekend as well.
it's funny. I feel like I knew you a bit because I watch you all the time in your
Well,
videos. So
that's the
it's
whole
like,
point of
oh yeah.
well, that's the whole point. That's why we put out so much content so people
Yeah, it's
do
really
build a bit
good.
of trust with us. So yeah, it's nice to obviously speak to people in the person as well, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's good. It's good.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much indeed, mate. Really, really appreciate it. So,
No worries, buddy. We'll speak soon.
all right. Great stuff. Thanks a lot, mate.
Cheers,
All the
Dom.
best.
Bye, bye.
All the best. Bye bye.